please. Oh, good yawning, Dad.
Sorry.
Hi, my name's Elise, and welcome back to my channel with the YouTubes. That's a millennial term. These last couple of weeks we've been talking about you, me, we are more than our setback. And this week I brought none other than the well-acclaimed, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Murphy, my dad. The crowd goes wild.
Hi, how are you? Hey, hi, yeah. Always wondered about television.
Well, you're not on television, you're on the YouTubes.
YouTubes, okay.
Yeah. Dad, thank you first of all for having a chat to me about this. You're the first person that I've had a conversation with, not like in life.
Wow, no pressure.
No pressure, you know. Your story is pretty cool in that, I mean, everyone has setbacks, right? But you've had your fair share. Like you've been more setback than the average. You know, you've made some like worse decisions than the average human, right?
Well,
so, I'm kidding. But like maybe talk about. I mean, I guess talk about whatever you want. But what have been some of the setbacks that you've gone through that threaten to define you, but haven't?
I think first of all, everyone has got their story, and. I don't know whether mine's worse than anyone else's. You live it, you endeavour to do the best you can at each step. I mean, if you've ever heard my wife Valerie, your mum, and I talk, you know, our lives, you know, really started behind the 8 ball in a way. You know, for me, I was sexually abused as a 14-year-old young man by a male. That kind of helped to shape my early behaviour in trying to prove my heterosexuality in and out of relationships. I don't need to go into the detail of that, but hurt a lot of people in the process, including myself. Ended up with a teenage pregnancy of a young lady that I'd been dating for 18 months. Never saw the baby. Just, that wasn't a great start. I drank more times than I care to remember, sometimes not knowing how I got home. That was months ago now, but no, that was many years ago. But
watch me cut out the many years ago. The editing genius.
And then, of course, Valerie and I have been in ministry. You're a PK, which makes me a P. And
pastor's kid.
Yeah, PK pastor's
We have
kid.
lingo in the church world. It's pretty crazy.
And so, when you've been working with people for decades, you know, stuff happens, and it's. I mean, I've had many times where you invest in someone and you know there will be a betrayal, and you start to doubt your significance. You start to doubt your identity. And honestly, I'm loving you doing this because you start to doubt that your identity is not wrapped up in your setbacks. I'm a bad leader. I must be a horrible pastor if all of these people hate me so much. So you've actually got to know this truth. That you're not defined by the mistakes that you make.
That's been the biggest thing that I learned in this last season is that you're not defined, I'm not defined by the detours of life, by the setbacks, by what maybe looks like a failure. I'm not defined by what people say or people think or the reputation that you have, or a lot of things were stripped away in that season I was in Australia with you guys. Went back to basics, right, in a sense, really and just
you worked hard. You put in the hard. I mean, it's work. To get back and in a sense to get your soul back, to get your life back, to really get your identity back. And we saw that. Honestly, we were very proud of you. You know, every morning, just out there on the what we call a veranda. What do you call it? Patio, balcony.
I'm so American.
And every single day, Elise would be out there and just with Jesus. And then thank God for Jen, your therapist, who's amazing.
Shout out, Jen.
But you put in the big ones there. You know, sometimes twice a week you're with her. There was some depth there that was painful, but you went there in order to end up here.
As a dad, I'm your daughter.
You are.
You were aware of that.
Yeah,
great. Yeah. Nailed it. That was all. So that was good. I'm glad we clarified that. That's great. As my dad, I think the perspective I'd love to get from you, what's it like seeing your kids go through setbacks? And, you know, I know that we hear it doesn't define us, but to hear a dad's perspective on it maybe is helpful for people. What was that like for you?
But for me, every fibre of my heart felt like it was breaking when you were going through it. And to see you having to walk it out, knowing that I couldn't take it away, but oh my gosh, I wanted to.
Right.
I wanted to embrace you so tightly that I'd squeeze all the pain out. I wanted to hug you so hard that every last tear would be drained out of your tear ducts. I wanted to take the pain from you. And here's a thought. I'm just a regular guy, an Aussie guy at that. If I wanted to do that, how much more does your Heavenly Father, who is not Aussie, he is absolutely perfect. How much more does he want to be approachable? Does he want to squeeze the pain out? Does he want to squeeze every last tear out? Does he want to take that pain from you? Which is actually what he did. And though maybe you don't realize that he is that kind of approachable father, maybe your image of father, when I say the word, but I want to encourage you that if that's my response, then how much more is it his response to your setback?
I think the other thing that's interesting about when we talk about setbacks and being defined by them is I'll never forget a moment. Last year you were there and the relationship was ending and it was heartbreaking, and I was packing up my stuff and I was flying home to Australia with you. And I think that it was such a cool image of what a father does in the midst of a setback, and the image of our Heavenly Father, because I packed everything up, but for some reason I just couldn't get out of the apartment. I couldn't get out of the place, and I remember calling you and I told you like 3 times, like, I'm fine, I can do it myself, like, very independent child. I don't know if you knew that or like noticed that about me, but I am. And I called you and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And you came in your Uber and got my stuff, and this is, I think, the image of the Father in the setbacks, is that he doesn't come in and look at the setbacks and look at the baggage and stare at it. He comes and takes it, and what you did is you took all my luggage and you walked first, and I just followed you with like a little bag or something like that. And I think that's the cool picture of when we think we're defined by our setbacks and we have to carry the weight of it. What our Father does is he carries the weight for us and he leads the way out. What if someone's watching right now and they're facing a setback, they're facing what feels like a failure, and they don't know what to do? And I know you're a pastor and a leader and all that kind of thing, but I guess as a dad or as that, what would you say to them?
Regardless of the role model that you may have seen in a father or a mother, that when you go through tough times, when the setback like really hits you across the room, and you start to doubt who you are, and maybe even every last bit of hope drains out of your veins, understand that I wish I could get through the camera and just give you a huge hug, no matter who you are. You are not defined by that thing. That thing is not you. You are much better than that. You are much bigger than that. And please don't lose hope in the midst of your setback, because you are not that setback.
Thanks, Dad. You can catch Dad and my mom. They both run an incredible organization, Leaderscape, and I'll put their links below. I'm gonna learn how to put their links below. Next week, I'm gonna answer some of your questions, or try to, or probably call this guy again and be like, this person asked this, what do I say? But I hope you join me. So until then.